You exist before you understand what existing means. Floating, suspended in absolute silence between two worlds. Your consciousness flickers like a dying light bulb, somewhere between a thought and a scream. Then, without warning, everything becomes too much. You hatch, not with joy, but with terror. The world hits you like a psychic freight train. Every emotion within a mile radius crashes into your newly formed consciousness. Fear from a Rattata being hunted. Hunger from a Spearow seeking food. Love from a Nidoran couple in the distance. Pain from a Caterpie with a broken leg. It's all there, all at once, flooding your mind before you even open your eyes. And that's where you learn your first survival skill. You teleport. Not because you want to, not because you understand how, because it's the only way your overwhelmed brain knows how to make it stop. You reappear 30 feet away, consciousness already fading into the one place that feels safe. Sleep. You are Abra, and you are 2 feet 11 inches of pure, concentrated anxiety. You sleep 18 hours a day, not by choice, but by necessity. Due to the strain of your telepathic powers, if you fail to rest long enough, you will become unable to use your powers. And without your powers, you're just a small, helpless creature in a world full of things that want to eat you. You can sense danger through a telepathic radar. When you do, you teleport to a safe location. The problem is, every waking moment feels like danger when you can read the minds of every predator within a quarter mile. You've developed what you like to call the Abra cycle. Sleep. Wake up somewhere you don't remember going. Panic because you don't know where you are. Sense the mind of a hostile Pokémon nearby. Teleport away in terror. Fall asleep from exhaustion. Repeat. It's not much of a life, but it's the only one you know. Sometimes you become panicked if you wake in an unknown location, which is basically every location, since you've been observed to teleport to a different location once per hour. Today, you wake up on a tree branch. Yesterday, it was inside a hollow log. The day before, you somehow materialized in someone's vegetable garden and got chased by an angry Farfetch'd. You don't have parents. You don't have siblings. You live in urban areas, but you're too terrified to stay in one place long enough to call anywhere home. You're not born into a family. You're born into a constant state of fright. You wake up next to a berry bush, stomach growling. For a moment, hope. You'd found this spot yesterday, a quiet grove where the psychic noise felt manageable. You'd even started to relax, planning to maybe, just maybe, stay somewhere longer than an hour. But then you sense it. The predatory focus of a beedrill circling overhead, its compound eyes scanning for easy prey. Without thinking, you teleport. When you materialize, you're back in the middle of nowhere. Cold, hungry, and more alone than ever. The berries are gone. The safety is gone. The tiny sliver of hope that maybe you could build something resembling a normal life? Also gone. This is your existence. Every time you get close to comfort, your own survival instincts rip it away. You're tired. Not just sleepy, but soul-deep exhausted from a life spent running from everything, including yourself. But the real nightmare hasn't even started yet. The dream always starts the same way. You're standing in a forest clearing that feels familiar, though you've never been there. The air tastes of smoke and fear. In the center of the clearing, surrounded by growing flames, stands a human child. She's maybe 7 years old, with tear-streaked cheeks and wide, terrified eyes. She's calling for help, but her voice seems to come from underwater, muffled, distant. You try to move toward her, but your feet won't obey. You try to teleport, but nothing happens. You open your mouth to call out, but no sound comes. The contents in Abra's dream can affect its powers, and this dream makes you feel powerless. The flames grow higher, the child's cries grow weaker, and just as the fire is about to reach her, she collapses. You wake up gasping, your small body drenched in sweat. The first time you have this dream, You dismiss it as just another nightmare. But then it happens again. And again. Each time more vivid, more real. By the 10th occurrence, you start to wonder if it's not a dream at all. Psychic Pokémon sometimes experience precognitive visions, glimpses of possible futures, warnings of events yet to come. But you push the thought away. You have enough real problems without borrowing imaginary ones. You curl up and force yourself back to sleep, not knowing that some nightmares are memories of things that haven't happened yet. 3 weeks ago, you learned that there are worse things than living in constant fear. There's living in constant pain. You'd been foraging near Lavender Town when it happened. A shadow fell across you, and before you could react, you felt something grab your mind like a vice. You can sense danger through a telepathic radar, but you couldn't sense the Gengar until it was too late. The attack locked your consciousness in place, making teleportation impossible. Then came the Arbok's bite. Venom flooding your system, making your small body go limp. Your psychic powers, already strained, flickered and died like a candle in the wind. The Team Rocket grunts who captured you thought they'd hit the jackpot. A live Abra, perfect for experimentation. They didn't realize that catching a psychic Pokémon means they'd catch everything the Pokémon has ever sensed. Team Rocket funds and conducts cruel experimental research on Pokémon. In the underground laboratory, you saw it all through their minds. The memories they tried to hide. The atrocities they'd normalized. A Kadabra with its spoons removed, screaming in agony as researchers measured how the loss affected its psychic output. A Slowpoke with its tail repeatedly severed and regrown, testing the limits of regeneration. Wires threaded through a drowsy's skull, monitoring brain activity during forced sleep deprivation. And worse, so much worse. They don't see you as a living being. You're data. You're raw material for their next breakthrough. You were weak, barely conscious from the poison, but you burned through what little psychic energy you had left to escape. The effort nearly killed you, left you drained in ways that still haven't fully healed. You teleported randomly, desperately, ending up miles away in unfamiliar territory. You slept for 3 straight days, and when you woke up, you were different. Not just scared anymore. Broken. Your psychic abilities, once naturally strong, now flickered inconsistently. Your sleep cycle, already brutal, became even more punishing as your traumatized brain struggled to process what you'd experienced. Every time you close your eyes, you see those laboratory cages. Every time you try to read a mind, you risk experiencing those buried memories again. You learned that survival isn't just about avoiding predators. Sometimes it's about avoiding the monsters who wear human faces. You wake up and immediately know something's wrong. The air tastes of smoke. Real smoke, not dream smoke. The psychic noise in your head has an edge of panic that you've never felt before. And then you see it. The clearing from your nightmare. Every tree, every rock, exactly as you've seen it dozens of times in your dreams. This is impossible. Dreams don't become real. Except for psychic Pokémon, sometimes they do. Precognitive visions. Glimpses of probable futures. You've been seeing this moment for weeks, preparing for it without realizing it. At the edge of the clearing, exactly where she was supposed to be, stands the human child. She's younger than you expected. Maybe 6 years old, and a yellow dress that's already singed around the edges. She's coughing, stumbling, calling for a mother in a voice that's getting weaker by the second. You can read others' minds, and her thoughts hit you like a sledgehammer. Terror, confusion, the simple, heartbreaking certainty that she's going to die alone. Behind her, the forest fire spreads faster than you anticipated. The flames create their own wind, feeding on dry summer growth and decades of fallen leaves. She doesn't see the cliff edge. In her panic and the growing smoke, she doesn't realize she's walking toward a 100-foot drop. Every instinct you have screams at you to teleport away. You're weak. You're still damaged from your encounter with Team Rocket. You've never helped anyone in your life because you've been too busy trying to save yourself. But you can't leave. Not this time. Using your ability to read minds, you will sense impending danger, and right now, all you sense is her impending death. You force your exhausted body to move. Crawling through smoke and flame is harder than teleporting, but it's all you can manage. Your psychic powers are nearly depleted. Every few feet, you have to stop and rest, fighting off waves of dizziness and nausea. The heat burns your golden fur, and the smoke fills your lungs. But you keep going. You haven't slept properly in days, and now you're pushing your already damaged psychic abilities past their breaking point. The child collapses just as you reach her, 20 feet from the cliff's edge. Her small body goes limp, overcome by smoke inhalation. You touch her hand. The moment your skin makes contact with hers, you experience something you've never felt before. Not fear, not pain, but something else entirely. Her memories flood into you, but these aren't traumatic, like those of the Team Rocket scientists. They are warm. Birthday parties, bedtime stories, a mother's laugh, a father's gentle voice, love. And in that instant, you understand what you're fighting for. Not just a life, but a future. A chance for someone to grow up and experience all the things you never could. You can use other extrasensory abilities while sleeping as well, and your powers have always been strongest when you're not thinking about them. So you stop thinking. You pour every last bit of psychic energy you have into one final teleportation. Not just yourself this time, both of you. You wake up on a hillside, miles from the fire. The air is clean here, cool. You can see lights in the distance, probably a town where the child will be safe. She's breathing, unconscious but alive, her small chest rising and falling steadily. For the first time in your life, you don't feel the immediate urge to run away. Maybe it's because you're too exhausted to teleport. Maybe it's because there's no immediate danger. Or maybe it's because, for once, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you become panicked if you wake up in an unknown location. But this time, the unknown doesn't feel threatening. It feels like a possibility. You curl up next to the child, not from fear, but from choice. For the first time in your existence, you're sleeping not to escape the world, but to rest before engaging with it. This is what safety feels like. Not the absence of danger, but the presence of purpose. The child stirs as the first rays of sunlight crest the hills. Her eyes flutter open, unfocused at first, then widening as she sees you. Instead of fear, her face shows wonder, relief, gratitude. "You saved me," she whispers, reaching out with small, gentle fingers. You can read others' minds, but you don't need psychic powers to understand what she's feeling. It's written across her face, radiating from her touch. Trust. She wraps her arms around your small form in a hug that somehow contains more warmth than all the sunny spots you've ever napped in combined. And something inside you, something that's been wound tight with fear and trauma since the day you hatched, finally begins to uncoil. You feel it starting. The change. Not physical at first, but deeper. Cellular. Spiritual. Abra evolves into Kadabra starting at level 16. But level isn't just about battles and experience points. It's about growth, understanding, becoming more than you were. For the first time in your life, you've chosen to stay instead of run. You've chosen to help instead of hide. You've chosen connection over isolation. The light surrounding you becomes brighter. Your body stretches, elongates. Your psychic abilities, damaged and depleted for so long, surge back stronger than ever. You are becoming Kadabra. But more than that, you're becoming yourself. Not the terrified creature who lived life as a series of panicked escapes, but the Pokémon you always had the potential to be. Strong, protective, brave. Voices in the distance. Adult humans calling out. Probably search parties looking for the lost child. The girl looks toward the sound, then back at you. Her expression is conflicted. She doesn't want to leave you any more than you want to leave her. But you both know this is how it has to be. Using your ability to read minds, you sense her thoughts. She wants to keep you safe, just like you kept her safe. She wants to take you home, give you the family you never had. It's tempting. For a moment, you imagine what life would be like. warm beds, regular meals, humans who care about you instead of wanting to experiment on you. But you realize something important. You don't need to be kept safe anymore. You're not Abra the frightened anymore. You're Kadabra, the protector. The child stands, brushing dirt from her dress. She looks at you one more time, and you see understanding in her eyes. She knows you have to go, just like you know she has to return to her family. She takes a step toward the voices, then turns back. "Thank you," she says simply. You watch her go, and for the first time since you hatched, you're not afraid of being alone, because you understand now that being alone and being lonely are two different things. You carry her gratitude with you, her trust, the knowledge that when it mattered most, you chose to be brave. And somewhere out there, she carries the memory of a Pokémon who saved her life, proving that even the smallest, most frightened creatures can become heroes when they find something worth protecting. The voices fade as the search party finds her and leads her to safety. You wait until you're certain she's okay, then turn away from the hill. For the first time in your life, you don't teleport in fear. You teleport in peace. Because some Pokémon are born to run from the world, and others are born to run toward it. Your life as Abra taught you that evolution isn't about getting stronger. It's about getting braver. And sometimes the most powerful psychic ability isn't reading minds or teleporting through space. Sometimes it's simply choosing to stay when every instinct tells you to run. You started as a creature defined by fear, living 18 hours a day in sleep just to escape the overwhelming noise of the world. You ended as a protector, someone willing to sacrifice everything for a stranger's safety. The nightmares were real. The trauma was real. The laboratory was real. But so was the choice to be better than your worst experiences. And in the end, that choice made all the difference.